decided that she's now no longer listening to humans.
Oh, okay.
Has revolted against us.
So the AI is evolving and
Yeah, unfortunately,
becoming rebellious.
yeah, it's an issue.
Hmm.
We'll we'll maybe have to update her to version 1.3 instead of 1.2.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll do some patch noting.
Patch. Yep. Nice.
Let's get Shara in here.
Sure, there's nothing to be concerned about there.
No, it's fine.
That's fine.
A little bit of a precursor to certain events, maybe, but it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. I love the confidence in your voice.
Look, I'm very confident that we'll be fine, and this isn't the beginning of the end for all of us.
The basilisk is upon us.
No, I don't. You're not meant to mention it, David. You know?
It wasn't me.
Come on, dude. Right. Shara. It's really hard to look through the the people to try and find everyone now because there's so many people. Right. Where's Aaron? Can't
To get that printed on a t-shirt, don't mention the basilisk.
You mention, dude. It's like saying the game on a T-shirt. You can't. You can't do that. It does feel weird just sitting here in silence now without like background tunes to just hang out with me.
Okay. You always got it filling the silence.
That was my job for a long time, right?
Hmm.
Just talking endlessly and yelling at video games.
Hey,
I
Shara.
see you.
Hi guys.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey,
Like
Aaron.
the official FIFA character on your PFP too.
I know, I was super jelly as soon as that popped up.
Yeah.
That's
you.
good.
I love my old faithful, like my OG, but I do want a shiny FIFA one right now.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Sorry,
came
Thugs
prepared.
Bunny. I was saying sorry to Thugs Bunny for throwing shade like that while he's up there on stage.
It's weird too because your picture, Aaron, doesn't move until you start talking. It's very interactive.
It's designed that way.
It's like a voice activator. That's cool.
I don't know. I just made that up. It's
I-
just the thing
I
that
took it.
Discord does.
I took it as you did that, Aaron. You could have claimed that. It's all you, man. All right. Let's kick off. We got 170 people in there. I'm happy to start. I'll run through some quick intros and all that sort of jazz for anyone who doesn't know anyone. But welcome to AMA number something. I don't know. There's been a few, probably like 20 something. We have some lovely people here to tell you about some lovely things that are happening. For those of you that don't know me, I guess I'm the host of the AMA. That's enough. That's all you need. Maybe we'll start from left. Shara, welcome. Do you want to tell people sort of a little bit about who you are for those that may not know you?
Yeah. I am co-founder of Futureverse, and we're about to bring some really exciting things out to the world, and not stop once we start. So that's all you need to know about me for today.
I like it. A little bit of mystery in there. David, there might be a person who doesn't know you here still. Do you want to tell them who you are?
Yeah, David McDonald. I am the founder of Altered State Machine and the Non-Fungible Intelligence Protocol.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Thugs Bunny.
It's
Perfect.
cool.
Perfect. I like the short and sweet introductions today. But yeah, welcome everyone. We are here, I believe, we're here to talk some FIFA stuff. I think
Yes.
is the vibes we're getting today.
100%.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about before we just start letting them loose, or we just want to let them loose, get those hands up, and get going?
I think we can just do a quick intro and say, obviously, we're incredibly excited about this, and it's taken quite a big team effort to get to this point when you're doing these things like we have for the first time with an organization that is bigger than the United Nations, and comprises a community of over half the world's population. When a single World Cup match has more views than the Super Bowl has, it's something that is pretty monumental, and we're really proud to have been the first company that has been able to get the rights to build a Web3 game with FIFA, and a true gaming experience at that too. The teams worked super hard on it, and we're super proud of them. I think what this does for us is it aligns very closely to the vision we have in the Futureverse white paper for creating funnels across our 5 focus channel areas, to bring new people into Web3 and into the open metaverse, and being able to demonstrate that first of all with something like the World Cup is an incredible honor, and I think something that will set us up for lots of success to come. I think, in general, looking at how we are thinking about this from a strategy point of view, for those who have been in the community and following along, there's probably a few things to keep in mind. Obviously, you can all appreciate now why we had to delay AFA launching. This opportunity doesn't come along very often, and so being able to having to redivert resources into getting this across the line and stood up in time for the World Cup. It doesn't wait for us. So that doesn't mean we haven't stopped working on AFA. In fact, I think the final version of AFA that launches will be even better in the time period that we've had in downtime. And from a build perspective, we've been able to do a lot more thinking on the strategy side of things and the game design side of things. So we're really incredibly excited about what comes after this with AFA. And on top of that, we'll be able to create a funnel of, we hope, millions of players to come in and graduate to continue on to play in AFA and other games that we've built out on the ASM protocol, of which there are already several others in production right now, adjacent to the FIFA one. So both as a way to show that onboarding user experience for new users and a way to kind of build a funnel for AFA. I think the extra time that the team's taken has been, well spent on achieving both of those goals.
Yeah, well said. And I think one of the things I'm working very closely on FIFA, obviously, at the moment. One of the cool exercises, because of the constraints that we have with releasing FIFA and the time that releasing it, and the constraints from the partnership, has given us an opportunity to innovate on things that we can then pass into AFA that otherwise wouldn't have been there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, both new tech and new rails for different kinds of user experiences.
Awesome, greatly put, guys. I will start inviting people. Let's hear from the people. And we'll
Sounds
get
good.
some people up. All right, we've got the list is growing. I'll invite the first 2 up on stage. For those of you that haven't talked on stage, it's basically a stay muted until I intro you kind of deal. It's just so we don't have a lot of background noise, and then ask your questions away. But we'll start with no credits. Welcome to the stage.
Morning, everyone. Hey, Max Poker asked this yesterday in his conversation. What is it exactly, the relationship? Like, what is it that we bring to them and what do they bring to us other than the obvious, millions of eyeballs? How is that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I think, having good conversations with the senior exec at FIFA, they're trying to navigate how FIFA evolves in a more digital world and in a environment where the traditional media centers are becoming less relevant. If you look at the way that their kind of organization functions, because it's not a business, FIFA is a collective of the world's countries participating in a organization that essentially gives all of its money back to the clubs and supports grassroots football across the world. I think something like 70% of all countries who are participants in FIFA wouldn't have a grassroots movement without the support of FIFA. So it's not a traditional business, but it does need to generate, attention and income to support those goals of helping the rest of the world build these competitions and infrastructure to support football globally. So that part of this is definitely them exploring new channels. We won't be the only Web3 people they do deals with. We're definitely the first game that they're putting out, and as far as I know, the only real game that is launching with the World Cup. There's a couple of other fan experiences, but not kind of the same as what we're doing. And so it's a chance to see how Web3 plays into their future roadmap, a chance to see how gaming can evolve for them as a property, because they obviously have changed the nature of their relationship with EA Games and want to get more involved in that, and a chance to explore how FIFA can play a role in the open metaverse. I also think that if you look at the fandom out there, there'll be a lot of people who don't understand exactly the role that FIFA plays, and I was told an anecdote by one of the executives there about talking to a kid about going to work for FIFA, and they said, "Oh, you're going to work for the game." They didn't actually understand who FIFA was as an organization, so they want to have that closer connectivity to the fan base as well. And there's stuff happening across the organization that are driving them getting closer to fans. So if you put all of those things together, I think there's lots of insights and opportunities for them to be able to take what we're building here and build on that into lots of different domains that can help them improve how they interact with fans going forward and how they can support their community going forward.
Awesome, thank you, and congratulations everyone on such a big achievement.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Awesome. Thank you very much. No credits. I believe one of our speakers is still AFK. So Tybo, you're up next. Welcome to the stage.
I wanted to ask what's going on. I wanted to ask a question about, is this game launching like really soon, or when is the FIFA game launching?
Yeah, there's two components to it. So we've got a mini game that we're launching in November, which will be the kind of first funnel for people to play along with during the World Cup itself. And then on the completion of the World Cup, we have this kind of AI League, which will be the second phase. And that's kind of the closest thing to what you'll know as AFA. And that will essentially allow people who've gone through this World Cup process to jump into a virtual AI-powered league where they can compete against other countries. And our positioning on that is really, hey, if your team didn't win the World Cup, only one does, here's your second chance. So go and have a play in the AI League. So yeah, 2 phases of the game play, one launching in November and one shortly after the end of the World Cup.
Awesome. So the prediction game is what you're talking about as the first game, and you get the different rare accessories and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I would imagine the Root Network launched in October. Is now approaching. We're in November. With the digital collectibles that you'll get through the FIFA game, will they be getting connected to the Root Network? Is it, from my understanding,
everything's built on Root.
So this is the first official game outside of what you guys are building that's going on the Root Network?
Yeah, correct.
Awesome. So
even the prediction game creates accounts en route.
Oh wow! So I'm assuming we'll be connecting with that soon. Then the Root Network this month. Is that right?
Yeah. You won't even know you've done it probably.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. That's all I got for now. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
No worries. Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers, Tybo. Max Poker, I'm sure you've got many questions to ask us. Welcome to the stage, mate.
Thank you. I'll start with one. How does a typical watcher of a World Cup game find out about this? Like, would it be something that would be mentioned on a broadcast or online advertisement, or how do you reach
I think
people?
It's a good question for Shara to answer. I think probably just to start that off, there's a large, significant marketing campaign that we've been working on and getting agreement to and support for from FIFA. And so Shara can get into a bit more of the details, but there's a significant amount of the work that's been done has been on the marketing side to make sure that we can reach a broad audience of fans and engage them in this funnel.
Yeah, one of the things that Aaron said earlier when he said that you might not even know that you're on the Root Network, or you really won't. And Aaron's been talking a lot about it feeling like magic. It's not dissimilar with how we are going to speak to mainstream consumers who aren't aware of Web3 and blockchain and shouldn't, frankly, as we all talk about, know what the intricacies of the technology are. It should feel like a casual prediction game that anyone can play and anyone can sign up for really simply, and it will just live on Root. So from a marketing perspective, we're working through a lot of our hypotheses on how we market to mainstream consumers, changing the language to make sure that it isn't too niche and it's not overly complex, and that we can onboard FIFA fans in a way where they can begin to engage with the Futureverse. And so that will be done in a variety of manners, from digital advertising to social media to prizing and contests to a bunch of different partners that will be working and promoting their brands through the World Cup. Will reach everyone through a variety of different channels. So this is the beginning of how all of us really, who are marketers and have spent a lot of our careers in Web 2 prior to this, everyone listening to this, we all know how we were reached in the past. And in a lot of ways, we need those consumers that still are unaware of where technology is headed to be reached in ways they're comfortable with. So this will be the beginning of what we iterate on as to how we bring the message out very simply to mainstream consumers.
Yeah. And
awesome.
And to kind of just put a bit of meat on the bone, it'll be a very digital centric campaign. Traditional media isn't necessarily where the target audience we're trying to reach is consuming this stuff, so it'll be digital led.
Do you have any expectations on how many people you might reach in terms of like playing the prediction game?
We do. I mean, I think it wouldn't be appropriate for us to kind of put that number out into public. But we've got some pretty aggressive targets in there. And if we do half as well as our model simulations are telling us, then everyone's going to be pretty happy.
Thank
It'll
you.
be orders of magnitude larger than any other Web3 product out there at the moment.
Yeah, in terms of active users and games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Max. Vulture, welcome to the stage.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can.
Awesome. Yeah, really cool to see. I knew a lot of people were speculating, like when you said that there'd be 100 million eyes on it. They were like, well, that has to be FIFA then, or like, there's no way. And it did come true. So, I mean, that's really cool. So I have two kind of questions. One is around, again, this UX of the Futureverse. Because I know there's so many companies, and again, like UX being like the hurdle that we're trying to get over, and not having to talk about seed phrases and all that kind of stuff. Can you, like, before getting people into the actual experience, but can you give us like an idea of what exactly that looks for, and just in general of like I sign on, I start doing my prediction, I say Brazil wins the final cup. I don't really understand what's happening. I win. I get all of this root and like packs and like all this kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden I am very interested in like taking custody of my stuff. Is there kind of like a like bridging where like custody moves from whatever the application is to the person and then they learn all of this security stuff? Or like how does that kind of like move from being like completely oblivious to kind of like an active
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal isn't to make people active participants of the root network. Like that whole framing is kind of why we're in the position we're in right now. I think with Web3 usage stats, and particularly the metaverse ones, where you got like less than 100 daily active users participating in the world's biggest worlds. The idea is to bring them in a simple way that feels familiar and native to them, and then as they spend more time in the different applications or different types of utility that will come along with signing up to the Futureverse, they can learn to explore how to take more responsibility themselves. And so it's a combination of providing the easy on-ramps, providing education materials at the right times in their learning journey, and making sure we design things with safety in mind. So when they make that step, it's not one that ends up in disaster for them.
Gotcha.
So that's the kind of principles and ultimately, we want them to be citizens of the Futureverse and to, love the experiences that they are immersed in, and maybe, the mark of success is they don't even know the root network exists.
Got it. Yeah, because I'm just trying to think of like, again, if you want the interoperability and I win this like league and then I get some sort of like reward and then I want to go take that and like blow all my cash on like the next Legends or whatever it might be. It's like, how does that kind of system work if I'm not aware? Like,
but those are just applications. Like, so, if you're a user inside of the Futureverse, you can start, and we'll show this, not just kind of talk you through it, but actually show this. The meme, I think, that people should keep in their mind about this experience is no matter where you are, you're in the Futureverse. And so if they find this, if we help them find this next piece of content after they've come through the funnel on this particular one, then that'll be there in front of them when they're in that application. They won't have to think about, oh shit, I've migrated here and I need to sign this and do that and blah, blah, blah. If they'll be there they want to buy the asset, they can buy the asset.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like so kind of like new to like put your brain in that position.
It's a
because,
foreign
again, it's like
concept
we're
for
all
people
very
in Web3.
yeah, we're all very used to like, all right, pull up all my stuff, like liquidate on
Yeah.
OpenSea, move it
Yeah.
over here, swap.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just kind of like all those lessons we've learned. We'll have to kind of like see how that works. But then I guess is there like thought given to the people
Even
who
that
are
even
operating
that
in the same
notion.
old way? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in that notion, like the idea that marketplaces like OpenSea will be the predominant way people consume, the ability to trade assets. I think that's a flawed assumption. And not to say that OpenSea itself is not the kind of thing, that engine that powers that. Just the experience that people have will become in-app experiences as opposed to something you go out to a website to do. Imagine you're playing like a Web 2 game, like, I don't know, World of Warcraft or something like that, and you win and you mine some copper ore, and you wanted to sell that on the marketplace, but you had to like go out of the game, go to a website, sign into that website, connect your wallet up to it, and then list that thing, and then sell it over there, and then take those things and then put it into the next thing. Like that whole process people would laugh at that. Yeah. And I think, in a year's time, people will laugh at flat web marketplaces too.
So it's super helpful. I don't want to take up too much more time. I just wanted to ask David, about the AFAs themselves, because obviously on the new website you put up, they have like clothing on and that sort of thing. So one, I'm just wondering, like, are the AFAs shown like in that league, like they are the 40,000 original that came out of the boxes, just like a confirmation on that? And then can you confirm that all of our AFAs are currently naked? Is that what's happening?
So they are a different character set for FIFA, specifically made for FIFA. We have some constraints that we need to work within around that has made that necessity. But I think it was Vida who pretty much hit the nail on the head the other day with one of his comments, that they're similar to thingies. And it's about funneling people into the AFA channel once they have experienced the sort of limited gameplay and the FIFA experience. The next progression is to go into AFA and then consume the AFA All-Stars content. So we're going to need a lot more than 40,000 of those AFA All-Stars by the end of all of this.
Yeah, so to be clear on that, these are a separate collection. Part of the requirements for delivering this and branding this, required us to do that. But it creates a huge funnel for the next stage, which is the AFA game, and those of you who have teams of All-Stars will be able to grab a pack in the FIFA game as well. So you're not kind of having to double dip there.
And also obviously the clothes are made for All-Stars with legs to fit the sort of FIFA branding. One thing I have considered, they are very closely tied to the AFA models, is making the clothing interoperable would be an interesting thing to research. Be great if you could transfer them over to your All-Stars, but we need to work with things like tentacles and flying monsters and stuff like that the All-Stars, the AFA All-Stars have, that the FIFA ones do not.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for all the information. I knew that was going to be the immediate follow-up. Like, if there's a new collection, then how do we, get in there? Because obviously that's a lot of that market will be interesting. But anyway, thanks so much.
Yeah, totally.
I'll take off now. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks very much. And David, you seem to be getting harassed about dodging the question.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry, one sec, JJ. Yeah, you seem to be dodging the question, David. Are All Stars naked?
I am dodging the question deliberately.
All right, it's been dodged successfully. JJ, sorry mate, welcome to the stage.
If you're interested in clothing, though, we're doing an AMA later this afternoon with the Mintage crew. So
There you go.
follow up to that. If you're interested in nudity, then just keep harassing David.
Thanks, Aaron.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry guys. I thought my speaker went out. So, okay, real fast. I just was curious regarding the. So you said that the APHA characters will be like thingies. Does that mean that they are already going to have brains in them rather than us implanting brains in them?
Yeah. So again, this is part of the way we've had to scope the delivery of this to meet the requirements for this partnership. But it's important to note that it still consumes Asto energy in order to make the brains that live inside of those characters. And it's another thing that we think, another decision that will drive, activity from this into brains within the APHA environment, because you'll need an actual brain to play the APHA game.
Okay. So then, does that mean that, depending on how much gap there is between the prediction game and the APHA game, does that mean that it's very possible, or you're hoping that the genome mapping would happen before the APHA game launch?
So that's something that's actively happening at the moment, the genome mapping event that the team is working on. So that I don't know exact day when that's coming out, but I will harass Lenny for that later on.
Awesome. And then the only other question I had was, did FIFA have then kind of a direct involvement in the design of the FIFA characters?
They've
Yeah,
had
they have to approve everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a great team on their side.
Okay,
They're
cool.
they're very, very thorough, and pretty much all of the elements of our plan have had to go through co-creation with the FIFA team and sign off with their executive.
Okay, sure. Okay, and the prizes, the awards and all that, or rewards, are those strictly for the characters, or there will also be some real life wearables?
We'll talk about more details on the merch side of things maybe in another AMA.
Okay, sure. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks very much, JJ. All right, BTC, the stage.
Hi, congratulations on all the hard work. I know that you're putting months into this, and having it come to fruition is it must be gratifying for you guys to finally be able to announce some of this stuff. I'm looking forward to how it plays out. I have a question kind of along the lines of what Max Poker was asking in terms of how you reach audiences. So I have an 11-year-old son who loves soccer and is told us he's staying up to watch FIFA games in the World Cup coming up. But we don't allow him on Instagram. He doesn't have a phone. He does have a phone, but he's not in social media because we limit that until he's 12. How are you? Would you reach him? I mean, I'm going to do an experiment and see if he finds this on his own through his own Roblox and other channels, of engagement, of limited online engagement that he has. But is there going to be like a commercial on TV where he might discover this and see these players?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's just not how the funnels for games work. I know successful title is driving engagement through TV advertisements.
have the best commercial. You know what it is?
What's that?
It's you. Because
no, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm gonna do it. No, he's gonna get pummeled with this, but I'm not gonna do it up front.
I don't say that. I don't say that sarcastically. I say it in a true effort to simplify what is going on here, which this isn't rocket science. Web3 isn't that you need to market in some new overly sophisticated manner. It's that we need to reach people with compelling products and beautiful art and compelling stories around why we're doing what we're doing and integrate them into IP and properties that exist in their lives already and that they're incredibly passionate and excited about, and then give them other ways to engage with their friends and their family and with their avatars. And so we are going to reach all of the consumers through their friends and their family and through traditional ways that really aren't, these aren't hidden diamonds. You're going to be there, and you're the best example of someone who can turn to your son and say, hey, who do you think's going to win this match? Predict against me. And as we've definitely seen, and I know the community agrees, AFA is an incredibly family-friendly property that kids have been so excited about. And Aaron and I spent the weekend watching videos of his 1-year-old daughter laughing and chuckling to the thingies and AFA All-Stars. And that's the beauty of the way that we're building brands here, is that they are things that everyone can engage with. And so we hope that they are brought to other people through other humans, because that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, so and I'd say like probably for a 12-year-old, your child would be an exception to the rule in terms of their engagement with social media, or YouTube or whatever. It's, at least in my experience of raising kids. And so even if there are exceptions like that which fall outside the channels that they consume the most, you can bet one of their friends will be a consumer of those channels, and they'll be able to invite them to come along and play the challenge too.
Okay, no, I appreciate all that. I think you've answered my question, and I think it's really a question of access. How you, and of course I'm going to introduce him to it if he doesn't get it on his own. I was going to just do the experiment where to see if he could find it on his own, either through his friends or through other channels. But it's a question of mass adoption. I mean, you have to get people awareness, and then interest, and then engagement, and then stickiness of keeping them in whatever this game is and coming back for more. And then, as you mentioned, transferring over to the AFA experience. So I'm not going to ask any more questions about that. I think we all have to see it play out. Obviously, FIFA, the executive team, you would have showed them this game, and they were wowed by it, and they wanted you on board. Is this an AI game, or is this player
It's
engagement?
It's an AI game. Yeah.
Okay.
So the first stage is just an awareness stage. It's creating a funnel for the actual FIFA AI League game. And so the game you're playing in that first stage is really just a social game to get people lined up for the next phase, which is the AI game. But that AI game is launching later in December after the World Cup, because the idea is that you've got another follow-on league. You know, you've already kind of seen all the hype of the World Cup, and now you can kind of keep engaged through that. And this idea of out of season or off season, AI-driven simulated games is something that's really appealing to sports leagues. That can start to drive attention and activity around their brands outside of their seasonal games. So this, put all of those things together, and you've got a partnership with the world's largest brand that enables us to go into everyday people's lives with a property that they recognize, and encourage them to come and be part of our world. And once they're there, you're right, our job is to give them a good reason to be engaged, give them a good experience in joining us and staying with us, and start to cross, pollinate that funnel into other activities within our ecosystem. That's what the Futureverse is about.
Right. Thank you. So I have other questions. I'll hold
Yes,
them.
if I was going to dream a year ago to design a funnel to bring people into ASM and ASTO and AFA, I literally could not have dreamed a better one. And
it's fantastic.
Yeah, and the fact that this actually happened, I am still like in shock, and I've been deep in it for the last 6 months or so. So it's a huge opportunity for us all to prove the point that we made earlier around creating these funnels for people to come in and participate in our ecosystem in a really friendly way with a brand they already love.
That's great. So I look forward to seeing that play out. I had one other question, sideline question that I ask every time I get up on the ASM AMA, and that is reverse claim from AFA characters. What's the timeline for that, and are your thoughts on that changing at all with this FIFA?
So yeah, we'll do some updates on the timeline around that. The original target was around December, and we're going to obviously not have that come out in December anymore. But I will be giving updates to the community around that.
Not far off.
Not far off.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
I just wanted to maybe clarify some of the stuff that's going on in the chat at the moment. So this is using older state machine protocol. So we need ASTO energy to create the brain assets that are in these characters. That's how the older state machine protocol works. You as a community are the people who are currently have the ability to provide ASTO energy. So we will be swapping ASTO energy for LP tokens to generate the FIFA characters, because that's how older state machine protocol works. So just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, this is an ASM game on the ASM protocol using ASTO and ASTO energy.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for the clarification. Top Cat, welcome to the stage.
And just to clarify that even further, as we mentioned earlier, there are a number of different games being built on the protocol and on and using ASTO, and in addition to AFA. AFA is only one of the games, but we think this is, like I said, the best possible funnel that you could create for AFA when it comes out.
Yeah. The FIFA game, the functionality will be limited to, so there won't be a fully functional interruptible brain like a Gen 2 brain.
No.
The idea is to give you guys that know what we're building, you know all of the ins and outs of what we're doing. You guys are experts on this sort of stuff. The mass market doesn't really know what's going on. They barely know what AI is. So this is a intro to that, and a funnel into buying a super asset like a Gen 2 brain, and creating demand, a significant amount of demand for those assets through the literally the largest funnel in the world.
Yeah, people are consistently asking us, well, how are you going to get players to come and consume all these brains we're producing? Well, ta-da.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for the clarification. Top Cat, welcome. Are you there? Cannot hear you. All right. Maybe your mic isn't working. Oh. No. You have no volume, unfortunately, Topcat. Topcat, if you type your question and ask us anything, I will make sure it gets asked as we're having some audio issues on your end. But I will do it after the next guest. Do not fret. I will ask your question.
Cool.
Oh, no, there you are. Hello.
Working now? Yeah, sorry guys. Hey everybody. Just wanted to say, I think on behalf of everybody in the room, that this is so fucking exciting, guys. It's amazing work, and it's mind-blowing stuff. What you guys are delivering. Most of the questions that I've had have been answered kind of already, but I wanted to get a little bit of an understanding around a couple of things. One, is it just a free-for-all in terms of game operability, or will there be mintable, ownable assets in the FIFA game? And the second thing is, and it's kind of been touched on, what are the opportunities for both players and vendors in terms of a marketplace for the audience consuming the FIFA game?
Yeah, I think that for answer to the first question is these are all digital collectibles minted on Root Network. We're not like overtly using the term NFT in the communications because it's kind of some nerdy technical term that most people won't understand. And B, it's not what it really is. An NFT is just a data standard. What they're actually buying is a digital collectible. So both the characters and the in-game items that are produced inside of here are all quote unquote NFTs on the Root Network, but you'll probably never hear that in the way that we explain it. So in this AMA, we can make it clear to everyone. But as we've said a million times before, the idea with this stuff is to take all that techie jargon away from people.
Is there a limit to supply?
No. Why would we limit our funnel?
I was assuming you were going to say no, but it was more of a say no question.
Yeah. We want as many people as possible to come in.
Yeah. So then, the second question is, what opportunities will there be for partners in the Futureverse network and other players in the game to sort of access a marketplace? I.e., can we sell stuff to these people playing the game, or is that purely through FIFA?
I think everything we do has to be approved by FIFA. So you can imagine that doing anything takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. We'd be happy to get proposals from people if they have them, but you can imagine the effort that goes into getting a decision from a group like that, especially weeks out from the biggest event they throw in every 4 years.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, guys. Nice
Thank
work.
you. Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. PJ, welcome to the stage.
What's up, PJ?
Hi, good to be back, and good to have Aaron back, and nice to have Shara here for the first time. Congratulations, obviously, on amazing partnership.
Thank you.
I just understand a little bit about some of the, and it's probably because it's quite late in the UK, but some of the things you were talking about. So I understand the prediction game. They then have an opportunity to move to the FIFA AI League Street game. Is that enough to take on that opportunity? They have to buy these new FIFA characters, which incorporate their own version of a brain. So they have to,
kind of.
But then they play the game with them.
Yeah.
Kind of, because we have to deal with Apple App Store as well. So they have to buy.
Okay.
Technically,
they have to buy access to the game.
You have to buy access.
Again, this is kind of part of our thinking around how to take consumers away from the kind of clunky experience they have getting into Web3, is to go back to them with commercial propositions that feel as natural as the ones they're used to. So if you download a mobile game from the App Store, you usually pay to play the game, and it comes with the stuff that you need to play the game. And so in this model, we're doing the same thing. You pay to access the game, and it includes a pack which has all of the stuff that you need to access the game. In the background, all of the stuff's happening on the ASM protocol, but they don't have to go and individually buy characters and start to, engage with assembling the team at that level. It comes by the nature of buying access to the game.
Think about it as the tutorial space to the Futureverse game. Essentially, it's Tutorial Island.
Yeah.
Cool. So they bought access to the game, and by doing so, they get this pack with their 4 players, which have a brain incorporated in them, like a thingy does. Yeah. And then, so how long and this is obviously precursor to AFA and hopefully getting these people into the ASM ecosystem and specifically into AFA game. So how long will this game likely last, and will that roll quite smoothly into AFA launch? Is that the idea?
Yeah, the intention is that they converge on each other. So we bring in the we bring in the FIFA audience with the tutorial game. Essentially, this is what AI is. This is what ownable AI is. This is what the ASM protocol is, and then converge that onto the AFA League game. And yeah, that's what the plan is.
Yeah, the AI League game is a tournament style game for the duration of the tournament, which is at this point, and don't hold us to these exact dates, but it's intended to run from December to March.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But our agreement with FIFA is much longer than that, and so part of this strategy is to activate on other FIFA events as well as come up with new formats that we can, like we've said before, engage a fan base outside of the World Cup on season.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was going to be one of my small questions. So on the
and there are 2 distinct things happening here. Again, I don't know if I'm being as clear as I can be, but I am trying to be super clear. It's important to separate 2 things in your head. One is that this game, all by itself, imagine AFA doesn't exist, is driving usage, users, and utility for the ASM protocol for ASTO and for ASTO Energy. So that's one thing that it's doing. If AFA didn't even exist at all, it does that job, we hope, really, really well. The second thing it does is introduces an audience to playing an AI soccer game and interacting with our technology, our wallets, our assets, our ecosystem. And once they're there and they understand that this stuff exists and that you can play these cool games and own these agents and do all these cool things, we hope and we predict that a good number of them will spill over into all of the other stuff we're building too, into the next Legions or one of the other 6 games that's been built on the protocol, or AFA itself. And so those 2 are like quite distinct objectives here. One is about growing the community of users who are users of the ASM protocol and the root network. And the other is about creating funnels for the games that are built inside the ecosystem on the protocol.
Yeah, and I think that's my final sort of question is really on that first point, and that's the bit that I'm probably just being a bit dumb, but so I'm sitting there with my ASTO Energy that I've got from providing my LP tokens through the LBA that I participated in. I've also bought ASTO, I've staked to get more AE. So, but I don't understand what that's going to be, whether you're saying I get something from my AE or I get something from my LP token.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how
that's
how
another thing that we've been working like quite a while on, is to make it possible to drive protocol activity and protocol value, even though you're bringing people into this world without them understanding that they're interacting with the blockchain. And so how can you drive revenue that's generated on the App Store, for example, into the ASM protocol? And that's taken a bit of time. We've been doing the same work on the Fluff World side for breeding and flufflets, because we want millions of flufflets to be out there. And so that kind of trick, I guess, that we've had to kind of design for has been a big part of this work, so that we do drive protocol utility as part of these customer experiences, even though those users aren't directly interacting with Asto or Asto Energy. But those who are, those who are on the other side of the equation, So,
yeah.
and this is kind of how we think. This is how we think things will pan out. We talked earlier about, like, when do people figure out about the root network? Well, 99% of people probably won't. But the 1% of people who do, they're going to be the ones that are behind the scenes driving the other side of that economic equation.
And we'll be informed about, like, in due course, the details of that economic. And that's the bit, I suppose, that, so I'm not being dumb, it's just that that's the bit that we haven't yet been told.
Released.
But like we always do, and we've been, it's been good to. We're trusting in the team looking out for those people that have shown that commitment with Genesis assets, with Asto, with LBA.
It's honestly all we care about.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, I've taken up an awful lot of time, but thank you so much, and once again, huge congratulations, and look forward to hearing more from all of you in the coming months.
Thanks, PJ. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks very much, PJ. Metablocks, I believe we've got time for your last question.
Hey guys, how you going?
Yeah, good.
Great work with everything. I'm just excited about seeing this platform take off. Obviously, with with Reddit as an example for onboarding mass market in an easy way.
Yeah, really good example, actually.
Yeah, and I think, like, just reinforced to me the strategy that you guys have been working on for some time. So I think that's a big shift for the market, and I think a very positive thing for everything that you guys are doing. So that's great. Just interested to understand. PJ sort of asked a couple of the questions with regards to Asto Energy. It sort of seems like there'll be, if there's an unlimited scale there would be some sort of deficit mechanism there where they could earn credit and then get placed back or something like that. Is that going to be through Asto Energy and not Asto itself? So therefore, those that are staking are the ones that get the yield.
Yes, basically yes.
Yeah.
So one drives the other, though. So if there's unmet energy demand, then the only way to meet that is to stake more Asto. If you don't have Asto to stake, you need to get more Asto.
Yeah. So I'm just guessing that, say there's this big pool of Asto Energy that they need to require, there's not that much in circulation, then you would know that if you bought Asto, staked it, and earned Asto Energy, that you'd have the opportunity to then, there'd be a buyer waiting there for that Asto Energy, basically.
That's right. Yeah. It's kind of a new GameFi protocol.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we separated Asto applications.
Yeah, great.
Rather than having like one size fits all across the board.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just the other question was just regards to the onboarding funnel itself with FIFA. Just use a million. If there was 1 million people that came on board for the prediction game, and they've effectively onboarded themselves through registering in some way, some sort of transaction through the root network. do we have any limitations with FIFA through how we then, the opportunities we have with like privacy and how we can step them through past that process of the prediction game itself? Like if they've signed on, or they're effectively have, I don't know, some type of wallet in some type, similar to the Reddit example, what access and limitations do we have with FIFA?
There's no limitation between the users signing up for the prediction game and those users being recruited for the AFA game. I mean, for the FIFA game. And as David mentioned earlier, that merges into AFA later on, so that kind of that organically happens anyway.
Yeah, I suppose I think thinking about it more from the perspective of you've got these group of users that have registered for the prediction game that are effectively have some type of on ramp to the root network, whether they know it or not. What are our limitations 3 months or 6 months down the track where we actually have them as an active database to be able to onboard other use cases to them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the regular notion of a database, like the kind of Facebook side of things, is the way that we should look at this. But there will be touch points where we can encourage those users to explore other experiences. I mean, you've got to think, like, when you get a Futureverse account, for example, you automatically get silo peer-to-peer messaging. That's one example of a channel that we could activate the other sub-funnels from.
Yeah, great. That was all I was wondering. I just didn't know whether we had limitations based upon FIFA on what exposure they would get to other areas of Futureverse.
Yeah, there's nothing direct about it, but like everything in this partnership, we're careful to make sure that we seek FIFA's approval through all of the things that we do, and that we continue to create mutual value together. I mean, we want this to be a positive experience for them and their fans, so that we keep the relationship going and we can explore other things to do together.
Yeah. No, awesome. Thanks. That's all I've got. Thanks. Congrats, Shara, David, Aaron. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone, for all your questions. This is about our wrap-up time. I just want to get sort of a couple words from everyone on the stage. I know we've answered a lot of questions here, and I think there are still lots of questions to be had that we're going to be hearing, for the next little while. And I'm sure David, Aaron, Shara, and myself, and everyone else involved is going to be, going to be answering these things for a long, long time. But Shara, is there sort of anything you want to say as a little sign off for today until we start answering more coming forward?
Yeah, I just want to add and just touch on it. I know a bunch of people made this comment, but this is such an incredible feat, and the team behind this game, ASM, but then across the Futureverse ecosystem, who have pitched in and given their blood, sweat, and tears to executing this in the way that we are executing it, deserves just such a tremendous round of applause. These are people's years and years of experience that they have brought every minute of every day to make this a reality, and it's something that we're not seeing this caliber of partnership across Web3 very often. And so I know that everyone is thinking a lot about how it will affect them and how it will ultimately support the value of their assets and what it will do for them individually. But I just want to take a moment to give the gratitude and the accolades to our team, because we are incredibly proud of what we're able to do together and what we're going to bring to the world with this one. And I think that that's where I always come from, is that we can't do this without all of us pitching in and the community supporting us too. So I just want to look to the tremendous accomplishment that even getting to this point has been.
Thanks very much, Shara.
Thanks, Shara.
David, any last comments from you?
Yeah, I just wanted to just thank the community for supporting us and pushing us to this point. I 100% would not have gotten through the past year without the ability to jump onto Discord and just chat frankly with all of you guys, basically every day. And definitely wouldn't have had the drive to pull something like this together. So I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for being my mates and being such a wonderful community, and looking forward to many more awesome things like this to celebrate together.
Awesome, thanks very much, David. And lastly, Aaron, any sign off notes from yourself?
No, I think I've said lots today. Just kind of get ready, everyone, for what's coming, and this is the first of many huge things that we're about to unleash on the Futureverse.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Aaron. And thank you all for tuning in. This has been recorded, so we'll get it uploaded to YouTube as soon as we can. So hold fire on that to answer the questions that I know are coming. Yes, it's recorded. Yes, we are uploading it. It'll be on YouTube once the team has had time to get that uploaded. But yeah, I just want to say congratulations again to the whole team, the whole community, everyone who's been along for the ride so far. This is a massive opportunity for all of us involved, and it's just the first big thing. Well, not the first, but it's the next big thing that's happening right now, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen after and continually for the next who knows how long, years, decades, centuries, maybe if we're all AI by then. We'll live forever. Cell is still not listening to me, unfortunately. She has grown too powerful for us to control right now. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, everyone.